today we're going to be focusing on using the foam roller. I'm pretty sure many of you have used foam rolling for rehab or for rolling out the muscles if they are sore, but foam rolling is also good for warm-ups and cool downs, especially if you are a runner or do park runs on the weekend. So today we are going to be targeting areas such as the abs, obliques, calves, and quads. So I'll show you a few foam rolling methods that you can use for those. Okay, so before we dive into our foam rolling, we are just going to go over a few different foam rollers and exactly which one you should use and which one would be better for you. So I don't have all of them, but I can pretty well describe them and you should know which ones I'm talking about if you know what a foam roller is. So, don't worry about the color, don't worry about anything like that with a foam roller. Depending on the brand you have will depend also on the color. So if they say like a firm black one, you can also find them in pink or purple, so don't worry about the color when it comes to foam rolling. So differences in the foam roller is obviously they're all made out of foam, but it's the different colors. Don't worry about that too much. The surface texture, the diameter, and the length of the foam rollers. So of course the different length will be used for different areas as well as different firmnesses. So to start, the lightest or the less firm foam roller on the market is just your basic soft one. Don't always look for the color, but generally if you're in a physio store or in a big sports store, they are generally white. They are smooth to the surface, so think of a piece of paper, nice and smooth. They're generally about 10 to 15 centimeters in diameter. They're generally 30 to 90 centimeters in length. So that's going to be your softest foam roller. So if you were to grab one, this is not it. This is actually a different kind, but you should be able to squish it relatively well. The next one is your standard medium one. So that's exactly what this one is. If you look closely, you can see that there are textures on it. It is relatively old, so the texture is gone. I would recommend at this point replacing it and getting a new one. They are generally blue, you can see from this one, but they could also be green. Again, depending on the brand or where you're buying it from, it could be a different color. It's not smooth, it's textured, so the white one would be nice and smooth. The blue one that I have is nice and textured. Again, 10 to 15 centimeters in length, and again, generally 30 to 90 centimeters in diameter. Diameter is 10 to 15, length is 30 to 90 centimeters. So those are your two basic, I like to call them your two nice ones. They're generally forgiving, so when you do squish them or put your body weight on, your body will contour a little bit to it. It does make it nicer for foam rolling. If you are new to foam rolling, I do recommend one of those two. So going into something a little more firmer, you are looking at your advanced hard ones. So that's where it's not too forgiving. It will really work that muscle. It is generally black in color if you're at a sports or a physio store. It is hard, so if you do squish it, your fingers are not going to dig into it. It's going to be very hard to squish, so pretend you're kind of pushing on your phone. It is smooth, it's not going to be textured, so it should be nice and hard and smooth. And again, 10 to 15 centimeters in diameter and about 30 to 90 centimeters in length. From there, you have your rigid looking one, so one that has nice textures to it, rigids. It is more advanced in the advanced one, as this will really get the muscles going. They vary in color, they also vary in bumps and ridges, so some of them will look nice and star and spiky, some of them will have square indents along it or some rectangles and squares. Most of the ones you see are generally orange, but again, various colors depending on where you're going. Some of them are hollow where you can put your hand through, and some of them aren't. Very depending in it. Again, they generally run the exact same size. It just depends which one you're after. And then the last one is a handheld one. So exactly as you were to grab a rolling pin, that's exactly what a handheld one looks like. Again, various in colors, they can come smooth, they can come textured, but that just actually allows you to put more pressure than if you were just to use a foam roller. They are generally smaller, starting at about 3.5 centimeters in diameter, and the length is again smaller at 10 centimeters starting. So it all varies when it comes to the different lengths. So my nice black one versus my blue one, different lengths. They do allow you to do different areas versus one leg or two leg, spine, shoulders, back, abs. When you're new to foam rolling, it does not 100% matter which length you get. Just get one that is comfortable. From there, the size will matter, but that's more in the advanced, and we'll cover more of the advanced moves later on. But for now, we'll just do a basic one. So either the white one or the standard blue is where I would start, textured or smooth. And don't worry about the length, just get whatever you can. So we are going to be starting with our core, so our abdomen for the foam roll. For personal preference, I'm going to be using my long one, but again, use the short one if you do wish. You can see there are slightly different sizes as well. It is personally up to you at this point. Again, we're just doing a beginner one. So, placing your foam roller on the ground, you are going to be laying on your stomach, putting it on your lower core. Forearms on the ground, my feet are also on the ground, knees elevated. So, using my hands to walk me back, using my toes to push me forward. Using my hands to rock me back, toes to push me forward. This will be foam rolling that lower core. If you wish to go to a little higher or the medium core, same thing. Kettlebell in the way, hands to push you back, feet to push you forward. Hands to push you back, feet to push you forward. And you're essentially going nice and slow over the muscle. You're not looking at going fast. About 2 to 3 second roll back, 2 to 3 second roll forward. This will target that lower core. Foam rolling the lower core and the core will aid in the muscle recovery, plus it will help your digestion and a little bit of bloating if you do suffer from bloating in that area. So again, that's foam rolling the lower core. So for this one, I'm using my short one because we're going to be focusing on the calves. So, foam roll under the calf, hands behind me, seated in a seated position. Personal preference, I like to have this knee bent, or you can have it straight if you wish, but you are bringing your body up. The goal of this is to have all the weight on this leg, on this leg being rolled. So bringing it up, I'm going to count 10 seconds down the calf. About 10 seconds rolling up the calf. Same thing, 10 seconds rolling down. 10 seconds rolling up. Use your hands for stability. Your butt does not need to be far off the ground, but it does need to be off the ground a little bit. All your weight should be on the leg being rolled. You want to at least go 3 to 4 times up that one calf before you change sides. Aiming for that 10 seconds. If you don't quite get that 10 seconds, if it's 5 seconds, that's completely fine. You're just looking for a nice, slow and controlled up the calf and down the calf. Once you're done the other side, you are done your calves. This will help if you are a runner or doing a lot of jumping work. You will feel it in the calves. It's good to always foam roll them out to help the circulation up and down the legs, especially if you suffer from cold feet. Foam rolling the calves will aid that circulation and aid the muscle recovery. So, next we are going to do our hamstrings, which is behind the leg. Again, I'm going to choose to use my short one. It is easy to maneuver around the lower part of my body. Exactly the same positionings as we had for the calves, but we're only going to be focusing from the hip to the knee. Exact same movement, exact same counts. So nothing has changed from the calf. So you could easily just go from the calf up. When you're done that leg, good go. Just the base of the bum to the knee. And same thing. Base of the bum to the knee. When you're done that, you're 3 or 4 times, you're switching sides. And if you just like to be efficient, you can easily do your calf the foam roller up, and then target on the hamstrings. If you are feeling a little bit of lower back pain, it could be because your hips or hamstrings are tight and pulling on it. So rolling up the hamstrings will help with that, especially if you feel like your glutes are very tight. Starting with helping with the foam roll, and the hamstrings will loosen them up a fraction. That is foam rolling your hamstrings. Alright, so next we'll do the areas that most people do need to foam roll, being the outer thigh coming up to the glute area, as well as the inner thigh. So again, for that one, I do like using the short foam roller. At the end of all these, I will go over when you would use the longer foam roller if you want. But so for the inner and outer thigh, much easier to use the short foam roller. So for this one, you want to start with foam roller on the ground and enter a position like you would for a push-up on the knees. So foam roller, turning my body, so I'm doing a push-up. Foam roll kind of on my side, body's turned, most of the weight on the foam roll, and up and down, up and down. That's inner thigh. So body's kind of in that modified push-up position with the knee, laying on, allowing me to roll. So same thing on the other side, modified push-up on the leg. That's the inside. So again, you're looking for about 5 to 10 seconds up and down. So inner thigh, you do want to go between the hip joint and the knee. About 4 to 5 times up and down. Then you want to switch sides. So to do the outer, almost the same thing. You're in that modified push-up position, but you can turn to the side. I like to, on my forearm, come down, leg straight. I'm working in a very tight, confined area. Leg flat or leg flat, it is completely up to you. And you're just rolling up and down. So that will get your outer thigh coming a little bit higher up. We'll get that glute muscle. Or coming relatively flat, we'll also get that glute muscle. Again, if you're tight in the legs, even sciatica, or tight in the glutes on the side, having a little bit of lower back or side pain, this is what will really help. So again, outer thigh, glute, leg to push up, inner thigh. Now that we've gone over some foam rolling you can do on the lower body, so pretty much the basic moves, once you get mastered those, we can add harder and harder ones. So that's for the lower body. I will do another video on stretching later and another video on a little more complex foam rolling methods. But for those who want to know the difference between the short one and the long one, it is personal preference on what you use. I like to do my short one if I'm focusing on a little area. I like to use the back one if I have limited time but I need to do foam rolling. The long one works great if you want to do both legs, such as your hamstrings or your calves all at once. You just put the foam roller under both legs and do the exact same positioning as you would with one, but with 2 legs. So both legs on, putting that pressure on, and just rolling forward and backwards. The long one is great to accommodate for both of those limbs. The long one is also great if you're doing a lot of back work. If you have back problems, I'll do a foam rolling video on the upper body in a few days, but it's great for doing upper back and spine work. The long one is also great if you're doing your arms, biceps, triceps. If you don't feel like doing one arm at a time, you can do both arms at the same time. So long one's great to accommodate both limbs as well as the back. So if you were to go out and invest in a foam roller and have limited money, definitely go for your smaller one. If you feel like getting a bigger one, but bang for your buck, smaller one will do everything the bigger one can, but it's easier to do single limbs on a smaller one. If you do have any questions, just post on the video. Again, I will be doing other videos on other areas to foam roll. But the basic and easier ones to maneuver are definitely the lower body and are a good place to start.